I'll give you guys a little bit of inside baseball on this one. Yeah, I recorded the Chris Cuomo video, the Cuomo brothers, I guess, a little bit more specifically. That one a little bit earlier in the week. I think it was like Thursday or something. I ended up recording that one. I thought that, yeah, there wouldn't be very many developments, but then like Saturday night, the motherfucker got axed. It's like, what? I didn't anticipate that happening at all whatsoever. But then I'm kind of glad that happened then. I didn't know about it until today when I was researching the topics and all that kind of fun stuff, because more of this shit, so I didn't have to do multiple videos on it, because I don't like to fucking beat a topic into the ground. That's for different clickbait outlets to do for their own leisure. Okay, maybe that's why I'm not growing at the rate that I probably should be, but whatever, I digress. There's been developments in this, and we can all just bundle it up into one nice little package, okay? Kind of like what Chris Cuomo's after. CNN fires anchor Chris Cuomo following indefinite suspension. Yeah, he wasn't really indefinitely suspended that long, like a week, maybe tops. CNN on Sunday terminated one of its top anchors, and again, that's kind of why I thought that he would just ride out the wave on this one, but his sexual harassment claims and just kind of using old company resources on this one, but that might end up biting him in the ass, so it sucks to suck. Chris Cuomo's conduct over materials, the suspension was announced on Tuesday, previous Tuesday, so 6 days prior to today. To review Chris Cuomo's conduct over materials, it suggested that he was more involved than he had admitted in trying to help his brother than New York Governor Andrew Cuomo amid sexual harassment allegations against the former governor earlier this year. The materials were released on November 29th by New York Attorney General Letitia James, whose office found that Andrew Cuomo sexually harassed, sort of, to various different degrees. We talked about that at the time anyways. At least 11 women when he was governor, like saying, hey, you want to play strip poker? Sexual harassment. Fuck off. CNN was reviewing the new materials before it decided to suspend Chris Cuomo and then ultimately fire him. Yeah, that's fucked. CNN had hired a law firm for the review. What, the fucking Hutz brothers? The firm recommended Chris Cuomo's termination, and the CNN chief Jeff Zucker, informed the anchor of his decision on Saturday. Yeah, that one's going to suck for you, my dude. In a statement, CNN said, we retained a respected law firm to conduct the review and have terminated him effective immediately. While the process of the review, additional information has come to light. Despite the termination, we will investigate as appropriate. See how many more people we can also sack in this case, but they might have a couple more lawsuits on their hands after this one, so you better retain that law firm indefinitely, my friend. Chris Cuomo, who hosted CNN's most watched primetime news show. Yeah, that's, again, it's like, okay, you think you can just go ahead and replace somebody so terribly charismatic? Issued a statement on Twitter saying, that's not how I want my time at CNN to end, but I have already told you why and how I helped my brother. It appears that you also lied. Well, maybe you told him, okay? You told everybody a certain aspect about how you helped your brother. You just didn't tell them the whole story, but thanks to this termination that's going to be happening, you're also going to be letting the world in on a whole bunch of other information as well, but you aren't going to be doing that on your SiriusXM show because you didn't get fired from that. I quit. Weird. Very weird. Chris Cuomo quits SiriusXM show following sexual misconduct claims, CNN firing as well. Fired CNN host announced Monday that he has quit SiriusXM. Maybe, I don't know. Perhaps it could have been one of those things where, okay, maybe he'll get suspended from that as well, because that's two very different Chris Cuomos that you get from the CNN show and then from the SiriusXM show, because there was also those revelations, and what I brought up again in that video from yesterday was also that he said that he wasn't a big fan of what CNN was doing, and then he didn't feel like he was being honest. It was something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing, of course. And then when he was confronted with that information, then brought it to broadcast, cable news rather, he's like, no, none of that happened. Nobody listens to SiriusXM anyways. Yeah, so in the wake of the sexual misconduct allegation involving his past gig at ABC. Interesting. Cuomo, in a tweet posted after former ABC colleague Brian Ross filled him in Filled in for him on Sirius earlier in the day, made no reference to the anonymous allegations CNN received last week, but wrote the way my time ended at CNN was hard. While I have a thick skin, I also have a family for whom the past week has been extraordinarily difficult, Cuomo said. Right now, I have to take a step back and focus on what comes next. That means I will no longer be doing my SiriusXM radio show, but I'll be opening up a podcast with my brother called The Cuomos. I'll be streaming on YouTube as a way to infringe further on independent creators and then just be boosted by the algorithm over here. Anyways, in a cryptic message to his loyal listeners, both of them, that's nice. Cuomo added, I miss our conversations a great deal, but I look forward to being back in touch with you all in the future. Mark it down. I bet he will be back. Him and his brother will be having a podcast at some platform, maybe Spotify, maybe YouTube, some form or fashion, and he's going to get preferential treatment there because he's a star and he has got the right politics. But something else that developed from this as well, okay, so he got fired, okay, from CNN, and he stepped away from his SiriusXM show, all over using company resources to help his brother. Woman's new accusations against Chris Cuomo led to CNN firing. Interesting. Chris Cuomo, who was fired by CNN on Saturday. You're fired. I shouldn't do that. I got a whole bunch of other videos to record today. Is facing an allegation of sexual misconduct, according to a lawyer who is representing a client accusing the former anchor. Deborah Katz, oy vey, the attorney, told the New York Times that she contacted CNN last week about a client with an accusation of misconduct by Cuomo. Katz, also representing Charlotte Bennett, who had accused Cuomo's brother, Andrew Cuomo, of misconduct in a separate case. Yes, she's one of the Governor's 11, or whatever the fuck they're being called. Katz told other news outlets on Sunday that the revelation led to his firing on Saturday, hearing the hypocrisy of Chris Cuomo's on-air words and disgusted by the efforts to try to discredit those women. Listen, their own testimony and their own fucking accounts of what's sexual harassment kind of discredits themselves, but whatever, you continue with your fucking drivel. My client retained counsel to report a theory of sexual misconduct against her to CNN, Katz said in a statement Sunday. CNN news spokesperson, speaking to the New York Times, did not disclose exactly why Cuomo was fired, but we kind of know now. Based on the report we received regarding Chris's conduct with his brother's defense, we had cause to terminate, a representative for CNN said over the weekend. When new allegations come to us this week, we took them seriously and saw no reason to delay taking immediate action. Stephen Goldberg, oy vey, a spokesperson for Chris Cuomo, denied any misconduct claims, characterizing them as anonymous. Well, that's how claims can come up at different places that lead to firing, but whatever. The woman who is accusing Cuomo has not been identified. These apparently anonymous allegations are not true. Okay, if they're anonymous allegations from people that you don't know the nature of the allegations, how do you know if they're true or not? Okay, Chris Cuomo breathes air. That's not true. So he's an alien? Oh my God, he's really a lizard person. Goldberg told the New York Times, adding that Cuomo fully stands by his on-air statements about his connection to those issues, both professionally and in a profoundly personal way. Well, it's his brother, so obviously. If the goal in making these false and unvetted accusations was to see if Mr. Cuomo punished by CNN, that may explain his unwarranted termination. But Katz told news outlets that her unnamed client was disgusted by Chris Cuomo's on-air statements in response to the allegations made by his brother, Governor Andrew Cuomo. So that makes it even more interesting. So she was just disgusted by Chris Cuomo for sticking up for his brother so that she felt sexually harassed by that? Okay. I know, it could be something totally fucking different. But again, this is just the words of, I don't know, some fucking activist broad who's out here just trying to make a name. Well, I guess not really make a name for herself, but just trying to make an impact out there and then just slip it through somewhere out there and eventually land a book deal or a fucking high priced or a highly viewed interview out there to say, oh, I was the one who took down the Cuomo brothers. Well, that's nice. Go make me a sandwich. Several months later, Shelley Ross, a veteran TV producer who had worked for ABC News alongside Chris Cuomo, said he made an inappropriate advance towards her at a work function in 2005. Oh my God, she was so troubled by this, she waited 16 years to come forward with it. Ross also shared an email that allegedly showed Cuomo apologizing to her over the incident. Okay, cool. So he made an advance. He's like, "Hey, do you want to go get some coffee?" And then she's like, "No." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And then eventually, a couple days later, he emailed and was like, "Sorry for that." And they're like, "Okay, that was so bad." Okay. The allegations come as CNN confirmed Saturday that the termination of Cuomo's employment, effective immediately, days after he was suspended pending a review over allegations released by New York's AG office and they protected Governor Cuomo amid a scandal of his own. So what's Chris doing in response to that one? Well, he's going to be suing CNN. Chris Cuomo preparing to sue CNN over his reported $6 million a year contract. Wow, for pulling in non-aggressive 6 digits of viewers a night? Sucks to suck, but Christ on ice, dude. $6 million for that? It's good money if you can get it. And I don't like any of these fucking baseless, nameless, faceless broads ending dudes' careers, or even broads' careers at that fucking state. Whatever, proper words escape me at the moment. I'm not a big fan of the Cuomos, okay? I think that they're probably fun to hang out with, but I don't think that they offer anything terribly important or revolutionary out there. It's kind of like most of cable news, okay? Actually, pretty much all of it. I can't think of one person who were better off, or the nation's discourse that's better off because of their inclusion. I think they all fucking suck at different levels. And while I'd rather have CNN's fucking news building in Atlanta raided by some peaceful protesters again, taking them down for shit like this doesn't sit right with me, okay? Even if they are my political adversaries or whatever the fuck you want to characterize them as. So yeah, I think that this is wrongful termination, and they should get sued for the remainder of his contract, who he apparently had another 3 years on, so $18 million. He's probably not going to get all of it, but he's going to be getting a sizable chunk of it. Could be getting a couple years of it, I'd imagine. CNN is bracing for a legal battle with fired host Chris Cuomo over his contract, sources said Monday, after a bitter back and forth about his network knew of his secret efforts to aid his embattled brother, then Governor Andrew Cuomo. Yep, looks like old Jeff Zucker there, that motherfucker who said that, we didn't know the extent. Looks like he probably knew. Imagine that, one of the faces of your company, using company resources. There's a good chance you probably knew what the fuck was going on, so wrongful termination away. Yeah, Chris Cuomo has hired lawyers and is preparing to file suit against CNN if it doesn't honor the remainder of the 4 years left, so $24 million that was left sitting on the table. And prior to this, no indication whatsoever that this dude would have been going fucking anywhere, okay? Because he's only 51, okay? He's one of their biggest ratings grabs at CNN, which is a statement in and of itself. And then what's happening over the next 4 years? Another instance of Trump running for president. Yeah, you don't think that he'd be going into overdrive over the next couple of years? There's zero indication that he would have get fired over any of this shit. So yeah, going after CNN. But CNN has no intention of paying Chris Cuomo a penny, an insider said. I'm sure if he gets a settlement, there would be an uproar, the source added. Oh, really? I'm sure. I too agree with all anonymous sources. Another source said CNN had a standard mortality clause in their contract that says if an employee does anything of disrepute, they can be fired immediately. But what about settlements? How about we get to the bottom of that? Chris Cuomo was canned Saturday, 4 days after being suspended. Lawyers from the white shoe firm of Cavaranth, Swain, and Moore told CNN that the documents gave the network legal grounds to fire Cuomo primetime star for contacting sources about planned news reports regarding his brother, as well as trying to dig up dirt on at least one of Andrew's accusers, sources say. Yeah, obviously. But then at the same time, that's also not the only reason why he was getting fired. So it's a bunch of different things that's out there. Interesting. The lawyer stance come even as a planned CNN internal probe into an unspecified sexual misconduct allegation against Chris Cuomo that the network received last week, which dates to his time working for ABC News. Chris Cuomo's spokesman has insisted these apparent anonymous allegations are not true. That's what we just went over. On Sunday, a spokesperson for Chris Cuomo told Wall Street Journal that CNN President Jeff Zucker knew about the details of Mr. Cuomo's support for his brother, adding that there is no secrets about this, as other other individuals besides Mr. Cuomo can attest. Yeah, this could get ugly, so he's going to be getting some type of money. In response, CNN blasted its former 9 p.m. weekday host, saying he's made a number of accusations that are patently false. This reinforces why he was terminated for violating our standards and practices, as well as a lack of candor, the network added. Yeah. All this stuff's going to get a whole hell of a lot more dirty, a lot more scuzzy, okay? Obviously, especially if the lawsuits fly. Yeah, you'd have to expect they would, because that's a lot of fucking money left on the table, and who the hell are they going to replace him with? Maybe they'll give Don Lemon a little bit of an upgrade. Actually, he could be receiving the Cuomo treatment, or at least he's the next one who's probably incredibly likely to be receiving that as well, if they're going to be holding standard, or rather holding to their standard. Because there's some accusers out there saying that old Don Lemon was fucking playing grab the package. Lemon's accuser, he stuffed his hands in my pants. And if we're believing all accusers, why can't why can't go for men as well? Okay, men who are getting groped by your fucking weirdo 8 p.m. host. Maybe that shit is above board between the 8 and 9 o'clock hour. No later than that. Justin Heiss, a man who alleged CNN anchor Don Lemon sexually assaulted him, recounted his version of the incident that he claimed occurred at Murph's Tavern in Sag Harbor, New York, during an appearance on FNC's, Fox News Channel, Waters World on Saturday. Heiss told host Jesse Waters that Lemon made an aggressive sexual gesture, which resulted in him fleeing the bar. But with his limbs flailing. Did he forget his purse? No, I'm just joking. Oh, well, I was out with my boss. We went into a place called Murph's Tavern in Sag Harbor. We walked in and saw Don Lemon to the right and walked up to him and said, "Hey, you're Don Lemon. Let me buy you a drink." Weird. And before he could even respond, I said, "Hey, Nick, let me get 2 lemon drops." And Nick is a bartender at Murph's Tavern, and Don Lemon looked at me and says, "I'm just trying to have a good time." And I said, "Okay, my bad," and I walked around the bar. 5 minutes go by. Heiss continued. He walks up to me, stuffs his hands in my pants, and before that he says, "Do you like me? Is that why you're fucking with me?" Oh, okay. I don't speak queer. And I said, "Nah, man, I'm just trying to have a good time." And in a split second, he stuffed his hands in my pants and shoved his finger under my nose and pushed my head back and asked me if I liked pussy or dick. A little late to ask. I'm not going to say it, and I was disgusted, as you can assume, and I fled the bar. Yeah, fair enough. I said that he assumed Lemon was inebriated. Well, you'd hope so, adding that he looked like he had been drinking. No, there's not any footage of Don Lemon being drunk in a bar, say around, I don't know, New Year's time, getting his ears pierced or anything like that. Nah, you can't easily find that anywhere. No, he's not like a notarized drunk or anything like that. But still, if you're going to be firing Cuomo on baseless allegations, shouldn't you be taking something from somebody who gets like triple your fucking viewership? I'm just talking about Fox News in general and compared to CNN. I'm just saying those seem to be a little bit more credible, a little bit more notarized. So don't be shocked if in the next couple of days CNN's not doing some fucking house cleaning. Or maybe this is going to be one of those things where it's like, we have certain rules for Chris Cuomo because, and we have certain rules for Don Lemon because, I could see it happening. This will probably get 0 fucking play, but that's fine. As long as you guys know. That's what I care about. Fuck CNN. I hope Chris Cuomo takes him to the cleaners. Never thought that I'd be on his side for anything. With that said, guys, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.